is Jon Courtenay!
It's showtime. Please welcome Jon Courtenay.
People still arriving at the back. Come on in, folks. Leave the house lights up. There's people coming in. Hello. Are you coming in, or are you going to wait and see if I'm worth sitting down for? Is that how I know how it works. If you want to come in, there's well, not many seats, is there? There's one here. If you want to come and sit there. Anybody got 2 seats? There's a few scattered. If you want to come down, don't worry. I won't make fun if you want to come in. Hello. Don't worry. I probably started a bit early. It's probably my fault. Well, hello, sir. How are you? Well, let me sing to you while you come in. Come on down. So you're late for the show. You thought that I wouldn't know, but now I'm singing to you and there's nowhere to go. The men will blame the ladies and the ladies blame the men, but we all know you're late because you've been eating again. The show will wait for a bit. Now you've found somewhere to sit. Did you step on people's toes even though the lights are lit? You look a little hurried, but I hope you're laughing soon before you have to leave again to use the bathroom. Are you settled okay? Are you going to stay? Now those people sat behind you have your head in the way. I'm not making fun of you, I hope I make you grin. I don't mean to pick on you, at least you came in. You know what winds me up more are the people I saw standing at the back, the ones just waiting by the door. They spent the day just sitting round the ship and had a nap. Now they won't commit to sitting, just in case the show is crap. But you came in. Nice to see you. Where are you from? United States of America. Paul. I'm from England, we get here on time. Don't mention the war. Right, listen everybody. It's amazing to be here on this gorgeous ship. I was performing on ships long before I did the TV stuff, and it's always lovely to come back and help pretty much a full house. This is amazing. Before we go any further, let me introduce some incredible musicians we're going to showcase them tonight. Would you please show your appreciation for the Apex Orchestra that are coming into the house. Come on, boys. They're amazing. They're so good. This is not really the beginning of the show. This is the introductory poem. And I want you all to know there are lots of other places you could choose to be, eating or drinking instead of staring at me. Some of you may be wondering, is this show musical or funny? You think it should be pretty good now you've spent all this money? But you can understand that I'm worried, because I might sing a song and ask you all to join in, but you'll refuse to sing along. You'll say, we haven't come here for you to make us sing. Just do your show, then we can go and carry on drinking. Do you see the dramatic lighting? Yeah. And the smoke, have I gone too far? I asked for that in the rehearsal, so you'd think I was a star. Then there's another worry. What if you don't understand everything that I'm saying because you're not from England? If I tell a joke, will it translate? Will you understand what I do if you're French or Spanish? If it's funny, will the Germans have a clue? Guten Abend, meine Damen und Herren. Willkommen. Okay, good. That's it. Then there's the difference in ages. Some are young and some are old. But why should I really worry? It's not like tickets have been sold. You haven't paid extra money to see a celebrity, but when you paid for your cruise, you got me for free! Thanks. I never wanted to be famous with all this effects. I'm just happy to be performing on the Celebrity Apex. Thanks, I thought about backstage. So, let's start as I intended. We'll get this band to play, and I can introduce myself. Good evening, I'm Jon Courtenay. What? Right, let's start the show. We're going to have a good time. Yes, we are. Even if you don't want to. Hey everybody, let's have some fun. You only live once, when you live your time, let the good time go. Yeah, baby, let the good time go. It doesn't matter if you're young or old, get together, let the good time go. Folks at the moment, talking trash. We're gonna have fun, gotta spend some cash, let the good time go. Let the good time go. Guys, wait, sorry. Sorry. Somebody's moved. It's not right. Sorry, just 1 minute. We did this in rehearsal and it's not. Hey, see you backstage. I'm so sorry, I know you're busy. Just come and check the store. Just double check it. Somebody's moved it now. Just check. Oh, yeah, we do it in proper numbers. 7 meters, not inches. 35, there you go. Just check this out. Just make sure it's parallel. It feels weird if it's not in the right distance. That's perfect, you see? It was slightly out. I know it sounds pedantic, but you got it. Thanks, sir. You're a good man. Thank you so much. I know you've worked very hard. We had one quick rehearsal this afternoon. This band is so good. English is not all of their first language, but music is international, and we're going to showcase their talents in tonight's show. Check this out. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, go! Never really liked them. They might come back later. Listen, I mentioned the whole thing about cruising. I love cruising. I'm sure most of you have done this before. There's probably a few first timers. I did it for many years and had a wonderful experience every trip, except for one contract. And it was leaving Southampton to cross the Atlantic, to go to the Caribbean for 2 weeks in the Caribbean, and then back across the Atlantic, back to Southampton. So it was full of Brits that wanted to do a Caribbean cruise and not have to fly. So I was booked to do that crossing for 6 days, and then I was going to fly back. And the day we hit the Atlantic, the second day, a force 11 storm hit the ship, which is a hurricane. It's proper scary. And that storm stayed with us right across the Atlantic. And to me, it was horrible. It was actually quite scary. The captain kept changing direction, and this bloody cloud followed us like a little cartoon. It was horrible. I did my show on the second day and they had to chain the piano to the stage to stop it rolling into the audience. True story. On the fourth day, the guy that was meant to do the show was seasick. And they phoned me in the morning and they said, could you do an extra show to fill in for this guy? I said, I'm happy to help out. And because it was the morning, I thought maybe I could write something that everybody would appreciate. Because by now it was 4 or 5 days of horrible weather. So I wrote a song that morning and I did it in the show that night. And unlike the ship, the song went down well. So, if this is your first cruise, don't let this song put you off. Because as I said, I travelled for 20 years, that this only happened once. But it is true. And it did inspire the seasick shanty. We booked a cruise on the internet, a trip for 30 days. Food is all included, we really were amazed. We were looking forward to cruising and to eating on the ship, but they didn't tell us that we'd spend the first week being sick. Seasick, seasick, the ship just passed along. I'm sick, she's sick, we want to go back home. The brochure said that we had booked a Caribbean cruise. It showed pictures of a beach and sun, lots of booze. Maybe in the small print we probably should have read, but by the time we got there we wished that we were dead. The food that they promised us included in the fare was laid out every evening for the passengers to share. I know some people ate it and some went back for more, because when they couldn't find a bag I saw it on the floor. Seasick, seasick, my head's in the latrine. I'm sick, she's sick, we're fed up being green. I was looking forward to dancing in the evening with my wife, but it's hard to dance while holding on and fearing for your life. I tried to be romantic and give her a little kiss, but as I moved towards her, the ship moved and I missed. The gentleman I landed on looked a bit surprised. He held me in his arms and his eyes were open wide. I said, thank you sir for catching me, not letting me hit the floor. He gave me a wink that every night he was knocking on the door. Seasick, seasick, the ship went up and down. I'm sick, she's sick, back to Dublin town. I know when we get there and we're lying on the sand, listening to the still drums of a Caribbean band, we'll soon forget and won't regret the advice from weathermen, until someone reminds us we've got to go back again. It's no bad when the sea moves you around. There could be a benefit, a silver lining that I found. My wife felt romantic, so I suggested with a smirk, we'll go to bed and lie there, let the ship do all the work. We booked a cruise on the internet so we wouldn't have to fly. We booked to do it again and hope the waves will still be high. We'll cross the North Atlantic, and if you're wondering why, we got to try positions that we never thought we'd try. Seasick, seasick, this holiday's great. We've both been thrown out so much, we both lost so much weight. Seasick, seasick, now we're having fun. We're bouncing up and down in bed, the holiday has begun. True. Now this time I'm very aware that we have an international audience. I talk very quickly, and a lot of these songs I'm doing tonight that I've written, they might not translate. There's a lot of guests on board that don't speak English, so I do apologise. To all the people who don't speak English, obviously you wouldn't know that I'm apologising. But the thought is there. There's a lot of people that don't speak English, and so there's French, Spanish, Americans. It's not a criticism, it's just an observation. You speak American, it's not English. Winston Churchill said that we are two nations divided by a common language. And I think it's true, we have different names for the same things, it makes it a different language. In England we call these trousers, in America you say pants, pants. In England our pants are under our trousers. Underpants, you see, that's what this is true. We say petrol, you say gas. Yeah? We say pavement, you say sidewalk. We say negotiate, you say bomb the bastards. I'm from England, so I speak in English loud and clear. Americans speak American, which is English or it's near. Normally we understand what the other means to say, but there are words that aren't the same, we use in our own way. We take out the rubbish, you take out the trash. We put petrol in our cars, you step on the gas. An elevator elevates, we call it a lift. That's shorter and it's more concise, don't let it make you piss. If we're pissed then we're not angry, it means we're slightly drunk. And wake up with hair like Boris, who could sympathise with Trump. In English, the Trump is an old word for a fart. You have diapers, we have nappies, for babies if they shart. Your babies use a pacifier, ours have just a dummy. You go shopping in a cart, we put it in a trolley. You have drugstores, we have chemists, spend $1 or £1. For band-aids we call plasters, you wear robes, we wear a dressing gown. You wear sweaters, we wear jumpers, some are baggy, some are tight. They make you sweat, they make you jump, so you got that one right. We have knickers, you have panties, we have trousers, you have pants. Jammies, jellies, jello, aubergines are eggplants. Or are they? An apartment is a flat, a front desk is a reception. We'll go on a holiday, you'll take a vacation. Pop can be a fizzy drink, your dad can be your pop. A period is a sentence, we call it a full stop. Silverware is cutlery, we sweet candy. Biscuits are just biscuity, they're the stages of cooking. What we call crisps, you call chips. Chips are French fries, they didn't even come from France, they're Belgian, you realise. You watch commercials on the TV, we watch adverts on the telly. So here the cameras in a film, do new roles in a movie. We both have taxi drivers, we call them a cabbie. And no one really speaks like they do on Downton Abbey. That's torches, a flashlight, centigrade and Fahrenheit. We drive left, you drive right, traffic lights, a stoplight. Use an eraser, in England it's a revolver. In America I know that's something different altogether. A shopping centre is a wall, elementary and primary school. Headmaster is the principal, British laws miserable. Timetables is a schedule, squash to the traffic wall. You play soccer, we play football, now you're bilingual and know it all. This song will have to end soon, I'm gonna need the glue. The restroom or the bathroom is the same thing that we do. I'll point Percy at the porcelain, principally to me. I'm going to need to use the John, and John is me. Any questions? I'm so proud that my parents named me after an American toilet. Isn't that good? My granddad is one of the reasons that I do what I do today. He was a big influence on me as a kid. He was a singer and an actor and a musician. He used to come to my house every weekend and he'd sit and tell me stories. Really stupid stories with stupid punchlines. In England we call them shaggy dog stories. And I'd sit there listening, knowing it was going to be stupid. And I think I get my sense of humour from my granddad. And he played a lot of different instruments, including the piano. He taught me my first song when I was 5 years old. He sat me next to him at the piano and he taught me how to play Old MacDonald was dyslexic, oh why, oh why. But I bought one of the other instruments. He gave me an instrument when I was 10 years old, and it's not normally part of the show, but because this cruise is Southampton to Southampton, I brought it with me, you'll see why. As I say, it's not always part of the show, but I've been practicing, especially during lockdown. I've sort of taught myself, and tonight, for you lucky people, I'm going to play you a wonderful song on this harmonica. I bring that case for that joke, it's not worth it, is it? So, during lockdown, I found this harmonica. He gave it to me when I was 10 years old, and I just chucked it in a drawer and forgot all about it. And when I was cleaning the house during lockdown, did anybody else clean their house during lockdown? Wasn't it a fun time? One of our houses spotless. And I found it and I cleaned it up, and I thought I'm going to teach myself to play the harmonica as a tribute to my grandfather. So I got on Amazon, and it's true, they sell everything. I found a book, it was called Teach Yourself to Play the Harmonica as a Tribute to a Grandfather. I couldn't believe it. It's exactly what I was looking for. It's a niche market. And with the book, there was a CD. And on the CD, there are backing tracks that you can play along to. Now, this is a very quick way to learn instruments. If some of you have got young children or grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and you want to get them involved in music, find these books, because you learn very quickly. This is the song I taught myself during lockdown. It's an old Louis Armstrong song, because he hasn't done any new ones for ages. He's dead. You didn't look too sure. It's alright, I'm warming up, it's alright. So, Louis Armstrong's Wonderful World, 6 months of lockdown lessons. I hope you like it. As the skies are blue and clouds are white, what a world. The real reason I'm telling you about my granddad is because quite a lovely thing happened after I won that show. A lot of charities got in touch, because it was still lockdown when I won. And so the charities couldn't raise money how they normally would. They couldn't go out in the streets, they couldn't hold events. So a lot of them were getting in touch and they were saying, could you do an online show and we'll sell tickets and people can log on to watch a performance. It wasn't ideal, but all the theatres were closed. I said, of course. And I did some really amazing shows. One of the charities was the Royal British Legion. And I know that all over the world there's similar charities. In America it's called the Legion, that looks after serving and ex-serving men and women from the forces. And it's just an incredible charity. And obviously November the 11th is Remembrance Sunday, we wear the poppy. I'm just telling you this so you understand the song in a minute. So they asked me to write them a song to help them celebrate their centenary. And it wasn't long after I'd done the show. So I said, of course, I'd be honoured. And whenever I write a song, I try and find the funny. I want to make people laugh. It's the greatest feeling in the world. And I sat in my studio trying to write this song for the Royal British Legion, and I couldn't find the funny. How do you make light of what that represents and what it stands for? So for the first time ever in my life, I just wrote a song without trying to crowbar a joke into it. And it came out as one of my favourite songs. And I think my granddad was looking over my shoulder because he certainly influenced it. So I don't always do this in the show, but just indulge me for like 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm going to sing it for you. It's called I Wish I'd Asked Him More. And it goes like this. He was a soldier, he went to war. Sometimes asked what he was fighting for. But he'd tell me stories and I'd sit enthralled. I wish I'd asked him more. He married true love at 18. For 3 years their love went unseen. Though battle scarred, true love endured. I wish I'd asked him more. Stories of sixpences and shillings, front doors unlocked and neighbours willing. The history you lived, the people you know. Tell me stories before you go. I know that you don't want to talk about the violence and death you saw, but your life will always be more than the blitz of Hitler's war. I've heard of Christmases in trenches, football games and sherry lunches, but every lesson learned should teach us why gunfire was heard on beaches. I wish that we'd sat down before, could have asked you more. But in your drawer at your bedside are the medals and ribbons that just beside the poppy pin that you wear with pride for the Legion by your side. Now your great-grandchildren are here. I tell the tales of the brigadier who for victory stood and faced his fear, and the Legion he held dear. Tell me now. shared with Grandma as the perfect pair. Devoted love and years of care, those final months when she was scared. You held her hand and let her talk, often making no sense at all. But you were there, and at nightfall you held her when she called. I wish that we'd sat down before, could have asked you more. Stories of sixpences and shillings, front doors unlocked and neighbours willing. The history you lived, the people you know. Tell me stories before you go. The childhood that you gave my mom helped her raise her only son. When my life had just begun, because of you I won. As a parent now I hope to be the inspiration you were to me. We're all a part of history, I love our memories. The jokes you tell when you came round, I wish I wrote that laughter down. I see Mom's look as if you'd done wrong, but still I laughed along. The wink you gave when you caught my eye, the hug she gave when you saw me cry. Late at night the lullabies, I never thought about goodbye. When you older I'd rush to see you standing there beside the street, outside the shops in cold November. The words writ large we will remember. I feel so proud to see you there, the smartest British legionnaire, speaking of your lost comrades for our tomorrow. They gave their to me. So children listening, you can see the slightest opportunity to sit upon your granddad's knee and listen to stories. Grasp every moment that you can. I guarantee granddad or gran will have so many tales in store. I wish I'd asked mine more. He was a soldier, he went to war. Sometimes asked what he was fighting for. He'd tell me stories I'd sit and thrall. I wish I'd asked him more. I wish I'd asked him more. Right, now I've thoroughly depressed you all. Some of you might have come in this, it was people leaving, they really are fed up. Okay. Maybe some of you came into the theatre this evening and you saw this wonderful piano and you thought, ah, how marvellous. Celebrity cruises. We're obviously in for an evening of sophisticated classical piano music. No, I'm sorry to disappoint you, I'm not a classical pianist. If you want to play classical music, you've got to be prepared to practice every day for like 5 hours a day. And frankly, I've always had something better to do. I had a girlfriend for a long time, we just broke up. It's fine, my wife's happy. I'm joking. She's never happy. Wife jokes, that's what we need. No, I'm a big fan of classical music. I love listening to classical. I love all the great composers, all the famous composers that we all know and love. Even if you don't love classical music, we all know the big names, the people like Debussy and Chopin and Bach. Beethoven. Do you like a bit of Beethoven, sir? You look like a classy sort of gentleman. A bit of Beethoven? What's Beethoven's favourite fruit? Banana. Well, I know that not everybody appreciates classical music. Some people think it's a bit boring. Some people think it's elitist. My butler at home thinks it's elitist. Well, I love it, you know, I think... So what I'm going to do, I put this little medley together of a few tunes that I think you're going to recognise, even if classical music is not your thing. These are all like famous themes that have been used in different places. Either Elvis Presley sung them, or they've been sung in football stadiums, or they've been on television, on adverts, commercials. So I think you're going to recognise all these songs. We're going to start with Tchaikovsky's Piano Concerto in C sharp. I'm going to play it in C because it's easier. There's less black notes, I get paid the same, and most of you won't even notice, so what the hell? if you don't know that, there's going to be a little bit of the Warsaw Concerto, there's going to be Brahms' Lullaby. Maybe some of you had a little music box and it played Brahms' Lullaby, beautiful little tune, little lullaby. There's going to be an Elvis Presley song, you'll recognise that one. There's going to be a piece by a French piano player who is still very much alive, Richard Clayderman. Do you remember him? Yeah, I know we've got some French guests on board. Anybody from France? Parlez-vous français, bonsoir? Hello? Are you here? No? No, Richard Clayderman, his music is still very popular in lifts. Sorry, elevators. Why use one syllable when four will do? I don't know. So no French people? Because Richard Clayderman was still very popular in France. Actually, my first girlfriend, who got me into classical music, my love of classical music started with my first girlfriend. She was half French. She was absolutely lovely. She was called Lorraine. Well, I think she was half French. I'm not sure. She only shaved under one arm. So my next girlfriend was half Brazilian. That was much more time. Lorraine. More of you got that than I expected. Well done. No chance. Leave it. No, leave it. You've got to explain it, it's not funny. So Lorraine, my first girlfriend, she was an amazing classical pianist. She was much older than me. I was only 18 when we fell in love. She was 35. But she was a wonderful classical musician, and she inspired my love of classical music and older women. So I started working on cruise ships. Not this one, obviously. Because there's some wonderful classical music on cruise ships, obviously, yes. And some foxy mothers too. So Lorraine and I broke up, but then we had to break up because she left me. So that was, she told me that I never listened to her. I think that's what she said. Anyway, my second girlfriend was also a classical pianist. Her name was Clara, or Clara. She preferred Clara. C-L-A-R-A. Beautiful girl, and an amazing piano player. And remarkably, only had one eye. Her left eye was a glass eye. I had no idea where we met. We went out on our first date. It just dropped out in conversation. Don't worry, it's just a stage you're going through. We were on our first date. I said, Clara, why are you going out with me? She said, John, I always go for the first man who catches my eye. It's hard to believe I want anything, isn't it? I don't know how it happened. So anyway, I'm going to tell you this story because what I'm going to play for you in a minute with the band, if they decide to come back, is a very passionate piece of music. And I want you to share in that passion with me. So I'm going to tell you this passionate story, and that will get you in the mood for the passionate music. One afternoon, Clara was trying to reach something in the bottom of the freezer, like a chest freezer, you know, with the big lid that hinges up like that. She's trying to reach something inside the freezer. And I crept up behind her, and I wrapped my arms around her waist, and she turned around, and we kissed. And she said, John, I love you. And I said, Clara, I love you too. She ran her hands across my chest. She undid the buttons on my shirt one by one, because that was easier than undoing them all at the same time. And just then, a band appeared behind us. I undid the zip on the back of her dress. Sorry, zipper. Why? What's a zip? It's so... I undid the zip on the back of her dress. It fell to the floor. The whole dress, not just the zip. I don't mean the zip. The zip didn't fall off, that's not what I'm saying. It's still attached to the dress. It sounded weird when I said it. You didn't think I meant the zip fell off, that'd be ridiculous. Like all the stitching came undone simultaneously and the zip fell onto the floor. It wouldn't happen, would it? Even if you buy your clothes like really cheap from like a charity shop or a Goodwill shop, you wouldn't expect the zip just to fall off. And I don't know why I mentioned it, it's ridiculous. Sometimes you might buy a dress and it says faulty zip. So bear with me, it might say faulty zip on the label and they might have knocked some money off. But trust me, that doesn't mean the zip's going to fall off. It probably means you can't do it up because there's like a little kink in it or something. But then you've got to replace the zip because you can't fix the zip, generally speaking. You've got to replace the zip, so you've got to pay someone to sew a new zip on if you can't do it yourself. You're going to end up spending more money to replace the zip than the amount of money they knocked off the dress in the first place. It's not worth it. Just find a dress with a zip that works. That would be my recommendation. Not pay like a broken zip. It's stupid. Or even better, buttons. Because buttons are much more reliable. If one button falls off, you sew a button back on. It's like a rule of thumb, right? Unless you haven't got thumbs, then buttons are surprisingly difficult. Because you need a thumb to push the button through the buttonhole. And the zip there, isn't it? You just use 2 fingers to pull the zip down. Thumbs up for zips, not so much for buttons. Anyway, I digress. The whole dress fell to the floor. And very soon we were both standing there in front of the freezer, completely naked. So I closed the lid of the freezer because it was a bit cold and that wasn't helping. Oh, that's funny. Oh, good. I lifted her up and I sat her on the edge of the freezer and we kissed again. And this time it was more passionate. And she looked me in the eyes and she said, "John, make love to me here and now on top of the freezer." And I thought, oh, kinky. So I looked her in the eye. Well done, well done. Listen, I don't want to shock anybody, I don't want to offend anybody. We're all here to have some fun, but I feel like I can tell you that we were 2 adults in a loving relationship. So I'm not ashamed to say that we did make love on top of the freezer. And it was a beautiful and sensual and passionate experience. And we got kicked out of the store. As I said, my first girlfriend was called Lorraine, and my second girlfriend was called Clara. So just before we play the classical music, I'd like to play you a beautiful song called "I Can See Clara, Now Lorraine Is Gone." I can see Clara, now the rain has gone. I can see all the obstacles in my... That was an obstacle that was in my way and I didn't see it. See, it was in the song. They always sit at the front but not in a bloody laugh. We're going to play this classical music for you. We're going to have a little competition after the show. Those of you that enjoy classical music, if you can name every single song in this medley, come and see me after the show. I'm going to be in the gift shop. I'll tell you about that later. The first person to correctly name every song in this medley will win a prize. And I've arranged for them to win a free portrait from the photo gallery. I think it costs about $30, one of the big portraits. A free portrait to the first person to name all these pieces of music. I've got no idea who the portrait is, but that's what you're going to win. It's delightful. Give it up for the Apex Orchestra, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2. That's usually the end of the show. The band play that music round and round. I walk back through the screen and have a lay down with a massage from the guy that plays the keyboards. However, there's no idea. However, I've got to tell you something really exciting just before I go. When I was 16 years old, I got to see Tom Jones perform live. And he's an incredible man. He's 86 years old now, right? He still performs. He gets to the end of the show, the hips are still going. They're not his anymore, but they're still There are women in the audience that still throw their underwear onto the stage. I don't even get a face mask. And then, Tom does something really cool. Everybody's screaming and cheering. He says good night, and he walks off stage. He goes behind the curtain into the wings, and he waits for 10 minutes, and the crowd are going nuts. They're screaming and cheering. And after 10 minutes, he walks back out, and they scream even louder. And he comes to the front of the stage, and he just holds his hand up, and they all go quiet. Not as quiet as this. And then he comes down the steps into the audience, and he high-fives the whole front row. And then he sits on the front of the stage and he sings his last song, It's Not Unusual, or whatever it is. And that's how Tom Jones ends his concerts. And that, I found out, I was only a kid, I was 16 years old, I found out that's an old showbiz trick. It's called a false exit or a false bow. All the big stars do it. Ed Sheeran, Elton John, Taylor Swift, they go, they wait, they come back. When I did my first professional show about a year later, I was 17 years old, small theatre, very appreciative audience. It got to the end of the show and I thought, I'm going to try it. You've got to learn from the greats, right? I said good night, everybody. I walked off stage and I waited 10 minutes. I walked back and they'd all gone. So, what I'm saying is I don't do that anymore. I'm staying on. I'm doing another one, even though you didn't ask for it. Right. No, wait for it. Actually, we've got a new song. So, a couple of things to tell you. Straight after the show, I'm going to rush into the gift shop. I have merch. I have an album. I have a couple of albums, and there's a DVD, and all kinds of stuff. You haven't got to buy anything. You can just come and say hello. That's absolutely fine. But if you do want to get a memento of the show, a lot of entertainers do this. A lot of entertainers sell things after their show. You know, it's always that awkward bit. You have to tell if you want to buy something, come and see me. You can put it on your card. You don't have to use money. All that sort of stuff. But if you don't want the CD or the DVD, I've also got some really good quality shampoo and conditioner. I'm not really using it, so... Okay, I'm going to leave you with this song. Thank you so much for coming out to the show tonight. This is my only show this week, but I'm travelling with my son, Nathan. He's up there somewhere, so if you see us around, don't talk to us because we're on holiday now. Please come up and say hello. We'd love you to meet you. And as I say, if you want to come and see me tonight, I don't know which shop. I think it's the liquor store. It's the shop that sells booze. That's where I'll be. My show goes well with alcohol, apparently. So this is a song that I wrote for the semi-finals of Britain's Got Talent. My little tribute to my mum and dad, who, along with my granddad, I owe everything to. The song is called When I Was a Boy. We have a photo of when I was a boy. This is me when I was about 3. I know, I'm the one on the right. Although I did meet a very rich lady on the last cruise that I was doing, and she'd spent a lot of money to try and look like the one on the left. One day I dreamed I might be on TV, that people would smile when they recognized me. Then I made it on screen, but it must be a hoax. I'm just a piano man with a bunch of bad dad jokes. Do you know the longest hair in the human body is the eyelash? It's true. The eyelash grows inwards, over the top of your head, down your back, and out your bum. It's true. If you don't believe me, sir, try pulling your hair out your bum and watch your eyes water. People ask me why I do this, and they understood. Inspiration from Chaplin to Victoria Wood. As a child I saw variety shows on the screen, wanting to be Billy Connolly, Elton or Queen. My hair no longer grows, just out my ears and out my nose. My body makes noises, I'm such a wreck. My forehead now has met my neck. Some things go together like Robin and Batman, like mac and cheese, like Simon and fake tan. But the greatest double act the world ever had was Carolyn and Ivan. That's my mum and dad. They were on stage long before I was born. As a child I would sit there, just shouting for more. They'd take me backstage, naked dancers I'd see. I decided show business was the business for me. I keep all the photos as I'm growing old, cause memories like this are more precious than gold. I made an album so I can reminisce when I look, then I go back to putting pictures of my dinner on Facebook. When I was 11, in my first spotlight, I was nervous and shaking and damning stage fright, but I knew this was it, this was my life for me, so I let out my breath and a little bit of weed. He taught me piano, I'd watch them both sing. I'd seen the laughter they gave and the applause that it brings. And though they dreamed of fame and to be on TV, they were always the biggest stars in the world to me. For 45 years they were barely apart, but there wasn't a day when I didn't hear them laugh. Like when Dad dropped a glass of chocolate milk in the bath. When we saw the mess, he said, I only meant to fart. Dad was still laughing till his final bow, and the memories of him make us laugh even now. Mum said never give up, and she knows I love her, but even she never dreamed I'd get a golden buzzer. My children have watched me from their youngest age, bring music and laughter from up on the stage. Just like I watched my mum and her dream comes true now. She gets to be on TV virtually. Mum, take a bow. Your family may be crazy, they may drive you round the bend. Your kids may drive you insane, it's a never-ending spend. But my mom always told me, be proud of who you are. So now I tell my children, always reach for the stars.
Orchestra and the future engine of Powder. And before he gets too far away, let's welcome back from vinyl and well-deserved bow. It's Jon Courtenay!